Lisa, how are you? Glad you could make it. Hope you had a good weekend. Mark Olson is in the house. Mark, how are you? Good to see you. It rained. It's been doing nothing else than rain. Shannon, how are you? Hope everybody had a good weekend. Did anybody do anything exciting? Are we excited about the new I Got Conned G2 ratchet? No, Emily, sir. Yeah, I'm going to sell all my Snap-ons. I'm going to switch it over to icons. I got cons, I should say. Nah. Rained so much, I cleaned and lubed a bunch of ratchets. There you go, Mark. Well, you're excited, Lisa? You going to buy one? It would be cool to see, but I'll probably stick with my Snap-ons. Yeah. I doubt it. Yeah, same thing. I got cured with the first one, so it's a paperweight in my opinion. Yeah, I'll stick to my good old Snappies. I've been really happy with them, so they're just hard to beat. Yeah, same thing, Mark. Even the gear wrenches. I mean, in my opinion, the gear wrenches are even better than that. So I still got the old '84 teeth, and they're in my cart, and zero complaints out of those. Hey, Walter, how are you? Walter says, I am not excited about the new Icon Ratchet. They are nothing but knockoffs. Yeah, that's all they do. So, but I don't know. Anybody got any new tools? I got me some. Let me go grab them real quick. And Snap-on came out with new radiator hose picks, short, stubby version. Look at this little fella right here. Versus the older ones. Look at that. And then this one, that is the biggest difference of all. Look at that. I really like to use this one, but 9 out of 10 times this one here, it's just too long. There's no room to operate. So this one here will be definitely an upgrade from that. So I just picked these up, so I can't wait to try these. Only icon I have and use are their flush cuts. Chaka Gillis is in the house. Chaka, the bear is so excited for the G2 icon ratchet, he has already shoved up his rear. Oh, that's funny. I think Val showed. I have not seen Val showing those off, to be honest with you, Mark. I know Mr. Subaru showed him. He got him a couple days before I had mine, or got mine. So. Harbor Freight went trifecta this time. Snap-on style mechanism, Matco, and Craftsman V Series comfort grip handle. Well, there you go, Dave. I am. Well, I am a sucker for new, especially if it comes in handy. And like I said, these will come in handy just because they're so short. I did send you a link, Dave. So whenever you got time, more than welcome to jump on, my friend. I've got one gear wrench, which is the same as the Matco style locking flex head. And I don't like the locking flex head on the gear wrench. I had a couple times that it popped loose on me where you put a lot of torque on it. Hey, Dave. Hey, Dave. Northern Grit, how are you? I got some new ratchet organizers from Amazon called 3D Tool Trays. They are 3D printed magnetic, and they have been sweet so far. I need to check that out. I use Tool Grit for the vast majority of my organization in my big toolbox. For my cart, I've got the cheaper stuff though. That's where I use some of the older organization that I used to have. A 3/8 drive magnetic shallow impact socket, a mixed power set I bought on Amazon. There you go. 3/8 drive magnetic. Yeah, I've got the quarter and 3/8 drive and magnetic. You don't use them all the time, but they do come in handy. Believe it or not, I use them more on interior stuff where it's hard to reach. And sometimes I use them on bell housing bolts. If you got to reach way up in there to get the bell housing bolts in for transmissions. Well, hey there, stranger.
Yeah, you're a stranger too. You ain't been live in 2 weeks.
Oh, did you miss? Yeah, is that the way you're saying that you missed me?
Yeah. Hey, Mark. Hey, I'm Lisa. Quick Ranch, Walter Frederick, Northern Grit, Shannon. Hello, everybody. How y'all are? Oh, feel like a turd with the shit slung out of it. I got a fever hangover.
The indexing gear wrenches are good. Yeah, I'm talking about the locking ones. Here, give me 1 second here, Mark. So this is 1/2 inch drive. This is indexing. These are great. And then I got the extra long one from Gear Wrench. and this is the locking one. They only make that in locking. And I had a couple times that when I put torque, really big torque on that, that it popped loose on me. So, and it caught me on by surprise because, you know, you think that it's locked and all of a sudden it, you know, you lose your balance. So that's the only thing I don't like about these right here. But these right here, yeah, they're great. I like them. What's new with Boo?
Uh, been sick last couple of days.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
well
went
yeah,
to get an ultrasound at the hospital.
yeah,
I went through a series of tests, a couple of ultrasounds. Last year, well, 14 months ago, 15 months ago, I went to the hospital to get 2 ultrasounds, and uh, you know, I ended up catching the flu, or just a regular flu, Missy too. And then went Friday and 2 ultrasounds and a stress test, a nuclear stress test. And I was burning fever yesterday, and then I already had a damn abscess tooth, toothache. I didn't know if the fever was from that or what. Don't know, but I was burning up. Yes, today sometime while I was sleeping, that I broke my fever and sweat and all that shit. But I don't like a fever hangover, man. That's worse than a regular hangover.
yep. So you're on the mends now?
Yeah, yeah. I hadn't eaten in a couple of days. Needless to say, I'm hungry. I'll get something to eat later on. But I'm gonna find out tomorrow. I know how my stress test went. I was good to go on that. The technician told me that. 'Cause, you cleared on your stress test for your surgery. So I'm just hoping I can get that surgery done quick. Well, procedure. I wouldn't say surgery, but it is surgery, but 2 stents put in.
Yeah.
At least I can get the blood flow back to my normal blood flow back to my feet. I can feel into my toes again.
Well, that would be good. Yeah, that's right, Em. 100%. Bill Beck is in the house. Bill, how are you? So when are you going to get your surgery then, Boo?
I'm gonna find out tomorrow, I guess. I got a doctor's appointment tomorrow for the see. I guess when all of that's gonna take place. If you should have time to read all the ultrasounds and all the velocities in the morning, and then he'll let me know, or he'll look at them while it's seeing me.
I'm going to put these ratchets up real quick. I'll be right back.
Uh-huh.
So anything else new, Boo?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I did have a something that Johnny found. I had him over here for a couple, 3 weeks, and I gave it back to him. He had a little plastic deal that a holder. He was like, "Look," he said, "I drove up." He said, "When I left here yesterday, I drove up to the house." He said, "I seen all kind of shiny on the road," and he had something wrapped up in a rag. No, well, a plastic bag. And when you say shiny around me, or with Johnny, we thinking silver or gold. Shiny. Well, he said, I've seen some shiny all over the road, and I was like, "Damn, must be some coins or something." Well, it was a little tool holder, a bunch of sockets in it, and a universal. He was like, check the brand on it. He put them all, he picked them all off the road and put them in there. And I was like, "Damn, Johnny, that's Snap-on. Whole set of 1/4-inch Snap-on sockets and a universal."
Nice.
I'm like, yeah. And it hit the little holder. It had a ratchet, a short extension, like a 3 and a 6. The universal, which that came with it, and it was only missing the 10 millimeter. And the what was it, the 9 and the 8, or the 10 and the 9? It's probably the 10, because usually that gets lost all the time. 10 millimeter socket, but it's yeah, he made a nice find right there by his shop. The road doesn't just come to a T. It has the turns like that. Like if you want to turn left, like he's looking at his shop, you're on 4th Street, and if you're looking at a shop, if you want to turn left, well, you go to the stop sign, and then you turn left. But if you want to take a right, the road curves like that. There's an island there in the middle, or to that side, and then the island on the other side. And if you're coming in from the west, if you want to turn right on 4th Street, there's a curve you take instead of making that 90 like that. There's a curve, so there's a couple of islands right there, and I guess he blames it on the curve. Stuff's on top of a hood or a bumper. And when you take that curve, well, because you don't really have to stop. It just got to yield right there in the curve. You don't have to stop. All you do is look left, and if something's coming, then you stop or yield to that vehicle. And I guess somebody had it on their hood or bumper, and when they took that curve, it just slid right off, bounced all over the roadway. But I looked it up, and that was different prices. They had anywhere from $275 to $400 on that.
Yeah. Was it just the metric set or the metric and the SAE?
No, it was just a metric. I forget the smallest one, and then up to the I forget what size. I never did make a mental note of the smallest and the biggest, but it's just a standard, 1/4-inch metric set.
Yeah, it probably goes up to about 15 mil.
Probably, yeah. Jonathan Gillis, what's up, on me? Big time. Puta. Sounds Spanish. Puta bel spelled grande. Not fruta, not cheese, spelled grande. No.
Yeah, it's not a very nice word.
He's trying to spell Plutarch, like catch you later, Plutarch.
Yeah.
It's spelled different than that. It's spelled way different than that. Trilingual, man. French, Spanish, English. Anthony, what's up?
Anthony, what's up?
I'm gonna spell Plutarch for him. It's French.
Yeah, Chaka Gills blames it on the autocorrect. Sure, Chaka.
Yeah. Been blaming it on autocorrect for what, a year and a half, 2 years now. That's how you spell Plutarch. Plus equals more in French. Tard means later. Late, later, like tardy. Tard.
Yeah, in
Later.
Spanish, later is tarde.
What is it?
In Spanish, later is tarde or late.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. It was Spanish
So,
and French.
And if
They had
so,
five,
you're writing it
seven
as tart. That means that's shorter. But
Todd.
mhm.
Todd. Good Todd. Spanish and French have a lot in common.
They do.
Like a hand, you say man.
Thermal imaging camera and an articulating borescope. Any recommendations? It depends on how much you want to spend, Northern Grid. I got the Vivor borescope that articulates on the end. Has a pretty good sized screen. Yeah, that thing has been pretty nice. And then I got this one for thermal imager. It's a Milwaukee. I think it runs off a 9-volt battery.
What kind of sensor it has?
I think it's a 9-volt battery, but whoa. There you go.
Something like that run you.
I think I bought this one, but it's been several years ago. Yeah, it's a 9-volt. Runs off a 9-volt battery. I don't know if you can tell. I think I paid like, I don't know, $80 for this. It wasn't
That's
too
all?
much for what.
Damn. Not bad at all.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cheap. And then but I don't know what they are today, Northern Grit.
The FLIR makes
And
it
then
good.
Vivor, if you give me a second here, I'll grab that real quick.
Years of Spanish in high school, just sitting here some hot chick. Oh yeah.
So that and it gives you a pretty good picture. This the size of the screen right here. So,
Got about my damn microphone.
but then again, there's a bunch of companies that make stuff that are similar to that on Amazon. So, I got the Vivor one, but I don't know. They have come a long way. A couple of years ago, they were expensive, but now they're quite a bit cheaper.
Braised pork with mixed greens sandwich. Oh. Missy made a shrimp stew Friday. I thought she was making a gumbo, but she had made a stew. Anyway, that's what I'm eating for supper. With a baked potato. Gonna be a twice baked potato, stuffed potato.
$400. Yeah, you can spend as much as you want on some of that stuff, Northern Grit. I don't use the infrared imager, I don't use that all that much. So the tools I don't use every day, I don't, I like to go for a little bit cheaper.
Mark had a question for you. Does that rotate 100 degrees? Question mark.
It goes all the way up. 180 degrees, yeah. Yeah, if you stick it down into a cylinder, you can look at the valves.
Yeah, a buddy of mine had an airplane, and instead of him, if he had a miss, a cylinder that wasn't running, he broke out his thermal camera. He wasn't pulling all the spark plugs and all of that, and all this. He just pointed over there and found a cylinder that wasn't running. Especially on them big radio airplane engines.
Yep, that's right. And plugged up cats, they're great for that too, Walter.
All right. Check the temperature behind it.
Yeah, in front of
Behind
it,
the
behind it. Yeah, in front of it and behind it.
Yeah, if it's got a big major difference, then something's
Yeah.
up, huh? Okay.
Pat CB, how are you?
What's up, Pat?
Glad you could make it.
Eek! What's up, Eek?
What up, Ken? How are you?
I'm gonna give Northern Grit a link. Let me find this thing.
Doing well. Replaced brakes on the Suburban today, and now I'm ordering shocks, ball joints, everything else for up there. It sounds like a snowball effect that you got going on there, Ken. What up, Brandon? How are you? About to fire up my smoker. I got to do a brisket for a funeral tomorrow.
Hey, Brandon.
Hey, Brandon. Ken, Mark wants to know where you're getting your parts. I get the vast majority of my parts these days from O'Reilly's. It depends on what I'm working on.
O'Reilly's?
Yep. Auto farts. Auto farts. Right. Yep. O'Reilly's are, depending on what I'm working on. If it's Fords, then sensors and the like. I like to get those from the dealership. Especially when you work on 7.3s, they can get real funny real quick when it comes to their sensors. Moog. Yeah, Moog is not what it's been, Ken. Moog is full on China now.
Moog.
Mm-hmm.
I mean the synthesizer, Moog synthesizer.
They used to Moog sells a bunch of ball joints, wheel bearings, suspension.
Different. Okay. Different
Yeah.
Moog.
Yeah. My other good deed for the week, I fixed a Jeep for a single mother. Her ABS light was on, so I checked the live data and the sensor wasn't reading, so I checked the tone ring and the ohm, the speed sensor. There you go, Brandon. There you go. Good job. Yeah, I'm personally more of a Napa guy, to be honest with you, Lisa. But a good friend of mine, he used to work at Advance, and now he's working at O'Reilly. So guess where I'm going? I'm going to O'Reilly. See, he's good at what he does, man. He knows what I'm talking about, and he gets his shit done. Shaggy Rifleman, how are you? Doing some work on Polaris Ranger. Got a Phantom in the system somewhere. Piece of shit won't start. Has new battery, carb starter, fuel pump, cleaned all connections. I have air, fuel, and spark. Just no start. Huh. Yeah, that sure sounds like a. But does it run on Ether, Shaggy? Yeah, like I said, Napa is my go-to place as well, Mark. But like I said, that my good friend works there and at O'Reilly's, and man, you can't beat good service. Yeah, just be careful with Moog these days, Ken. It's not what it used to be. To never buy a Ranger. It didn't last a week. Oh, really? There you go. This is Brandon's kind of playing field. How about compression? We get parts from O'Reilly's and Parts Plus. Used to buy from Auto Value. Quit buying from. They're doing their prices up too high. So it's Motorcraft too. There you go, Mark. Helping a single mother with abs. A good move. Yeah, compression. With a compression tester, Shaggy. There you go, Pat. Timing or compression. Yep. Anthony says you looked at a Bronco today and didn't fix itself. Well, dang it. There you go, Shaggy. You need a compression gauge. Yeah, you need something like this right here. This one here is a cheap Harbor Freight one, or something like that. And you pull the spark plug out and use one of these hoses right here to put it in, and you know real quick what's going on. That's, by the way, the only specialty tool I still have that's from Pittsburgh or Harbor Freight. It hasn't shipped the bed on me yet. Yeah, if anything else, might want to check with an auto parts store, see if you can just rent one or borrow or whatever.
FVP. VP, FPV, first person viewing. Craftsman.
There you go, Ken. I got one, Anthony. Mine's an old I assume USA Craftsman. Oh, yeah, USA. Well, like I said, that one there has done fine by me so far. So, but if I start doubting it, it will get replaced, or at least put new gauge on it. Yeah, they're pretty cheap, Shaggy. I don't know. I think it's under $50, to be honest with you. Oh, tried the Movie Tech once, came back bad a week later. The last move ball joints we bought were USA made. Yeah, that's right, Emily, sir. That is leftover stock.
Northern Grit, yeah. I was going to tell you, type that in. Look, Amazon. They got a sale going on it right now. It ends in 5 hours, and believe me, when that hits zero, the timer doesn't reset to 6 hours. It's going to be over with. That's the sale price. All the other ones, I think B-side makes it. The B-side is the same price anyway. It's the same one. I use B-side multimeters and stuff.
I bet, Mark. I bet.
Tex-Mex. Made my own cheese sauce. Damn.
Oh, yeah, it was delicious. And then she made it with rice and chicken. Oh, my God. Pour that over the rice and the chicken. Oh, to die for.
How did she make the cheese sauce?
I don't know. You got to ask her.
Oh, okay.
Northern Grit wants to know if that's Amazon.
Yeah, I answered his question earlier when I was talking about the B-side and all that, and the 5 hours left on the sale.
Lisa.
I make a cheese sauce, a white cheese sauce. You take Pioneer country gravy, white gravy mix, like for pork chops or breakfast or whatever. There's two different kinds. Yeah. I use the one for the fried pork chops or chicken fried steak. Take that, you make a regular, white gravy. Then you take Velveeta cheese, the melty kind, the block, and you cut it You get about that much of the block, and you cut it in cubes, and you throw that in that white gravy, and that cheese melts in there, and it comes out like whitish color. Man, that'll make anybody love asparagus. That white cheese sauce, it'll make anybody asparagus lover. You pour it on whatever vegetables or whatever. Man, it's awesome. You can use it as a dip or pour it over stuff. It's mostly a veggie pour over. Missy never did like asparagus until I made asparagus one time, steamed some asparagus, and I made that cheese sauce. Now she loves asparagus because of the cheese sauce.
Right. It's the cheese sauce she loves, not the asparagus.
Yeah.
Diabolical. How are you, my man? I see your car is coming along on Instagram. Looking good. You got the frame all done now? Getting close. Have to plumb it all this week. There you
Hey,
go.
diabolical.
One step closer. There you go, Boo.
Cheese sauce equals butter, heavy cream. Okay, heavy whipping cream. Yep, mine was our goat. Okay, broth. I use extra from chicken. Yep, nothing beats homemade broth. Way better than that store bought crap in a carton. Uh, Garlic, paprika, cumin, tomatoes, green chilies, onions, and a touch of Kobe Jack. Love me some Kobe Jack. That's a good combination right there. Hell yeah.
Heart lines. Question for the group. How do y'all deal with strip threads and plastic? Well, it all depends on how important it is, Mark.
Well, I can tell you how not to make new threads in plastic. Fill it up with other melted plastic, make a plug, and then re-drill it and thread it with a screw.
You're always welcome,
Hammer.
Brandon. Ken says use a hammer.
Yeah. Yeah, buddy.
Well, to get back with that, Mark, first, it all depends on, what, how important it is. Um, and then second of all, I repaired it before because it's plastic. Fill it up with JB Weld and then drill it out and rethread it. Or riv nut, yeah, you can do that too. Like I said, it all depends on, the importance of it. Yeah, but it all depends on what's going on, Anthony. He didn't specify where, how it was.
Take a soldering iron or a wood burning kit, melt that plastic, put it in a damn brass insert. And when the plastic cools off, it grips around that insert. I like cooking for a crowd. Well, yeah, you got your family's a crowd. That's for sure.
Well, these days I've got a plastic welder, so, but I haven't used it for any of that yet.
What's your welder look like?
Oh, it's just a cheap piece of shit. I think I paid $10 for it.
Yeah,
It's got
okay.
different tips.
Yeah, just like a wood burner or soldering iron.
Yeah, soldering iron. Yeah, like I said, Anthony, it all depends on your situation. I did it once on a hood uh, to get the riv nut back in there, and because it was a steel riv nut for a bolt, and I put that drilled it out a little bit so it was nice and rough, and then I used some JB Weld and I put that riv nut back in there so the bolt would hold.
That plastic welder, where the at the handle, is that screw in like a little light bulb? That element? Do you have that type of element on it where it screws in like a light bulb?
No, it has a jam nut on it.
Right there where it meets the handle?
No, it's screwed in there. And then the tip right here, there's a jam, a bolt right there.
Okay, so that's built into the handle then.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was cheap. I don't use this much, but I use it for that fixing a plastic tank on that flax.
Gotcha. Because if that would have been similar to a welder, and if it
What
ever
up,
went
Derek?
out
How
on
are
you,
you?
what's up, Tarek? If it ever went out on you, could have used a welder element, and just screwed it right in, and you'd have had a good. You could have used it for whatever you wanted, plastic or solder.
Yeah, for soldering, I've got that Milwaukee soldering iron.
A little portable with the battery in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that thing has been great. Works really well on regular wire, except for when you get to some bigger wires, and
Yeah. 12
it's
gauge, 10 gauge.
yeah, then it starts to struggle. But
Oh, that's when you need a little torch.
well, that's what I have.
I got a little torch for soldering on the go, big stuff or
Hmm.
uh, like coaxiums connectors. And the PL259s just for the ground. The 3 holes on it, man, that makes quick work of it. Instead of breaking out the big soldering gun, the double clicker, and then I just break out the torch and that's instant on. Gets it hot fast. A
Yeah,
Weller cord, yeah.
that thing has been great,
Oh yeah,
and it's really nice that you can move that head around.
yeah,
So works good, and when you're inside and whatnot, you don't have to worry about tripping over your wire.
yeah. And that one right there, I think that one's what, 100 something bucks.
I think it's a little more than that, but
About 150, 160 is what I was thinking.
yeah, it could be. I don't know. It's been a while, but it's
Yeah,
and I use the bigger battery on it, so that way you can just set it down. And like I said,
yeah.
this thing has been great. I like this one here a lot.
If anything goes wrong with me, just send it to me. I'll fix it for you.
Okay.
I
I'm
had
running the Milwaukee battery line. Oh, you're missing out, Mark.
$75 for my Milwaukee Speed Ranch. What's up, Cass? At the depot. Really? For a soldering iron? Milwaukee soldering?
I don't know. I mean, I
No,
have no recollection on how much I spend on it. It's been,
that one Theo's got 100 something bucks.
I don't know.
150, 160, I want to say.
I
Buddy of
bought it
mine
when
had
they
one.
came, I bought it when they came out with it. And like I said, I can't remember what I paid for it, but yeah, Cash, how are you? I don't know, Shaggy. This Milwaukee Mid Torque, I beat the snot out of it on the daily, and it's still running strong.
Oh, it was a Black Friday deal. Shit, that was half price. It wasn't bad at all.
Shit, Ken Tony.
There you go. Now you're in the chair again.
Well, here in a couple days, we're going to have an interesting truck coming in. 7.3. The guy turns on the blower on high or the headlights on, and sometimes it kills the truck.
Wow. Got some corrosion somewhere?
Or bad ground or something.
Yeah.
So that will be interesting to find out what's doing that. And sometimes it doesn't do it at all, and sometimes it I don't know, Mark. It like I said, it's going to be interesting to find out what's going on. So
What year is that truck?
it's an 02.
Oh, okay. I thought you had said 73.
A 7.3.
Oh, okay. Power stroke.
Yeah, it's either that or maybe in the fuse block. I don't know. We're just gonna have to check that out. That's gonna take a little bit of work to figure that one out, I think. We'll see. Yeah, that was my first thought too, Dave. Bad ground. Still need to fix my headlights. Had a bad connection somewhere. Low beams don't work. Aha. What it does, Mark, it kills the injector drive module relay. The voltage, there's a voltage drop there. He was here the other day to have a quick look at it. So windshield leak. Mine was acting strange and shit was getting wet and causing shorts. I haven't ran that into so many problems in the fuse boxes on those, Walter, but this one is under the one that's under the hood, because that's where the fuses are for the headlights, the blower motor, and relay for the injector drive module. So, Nick, how are you? Well, it will be an interesting one to find out what's going on with that. Hello, Nick. Hopefully, upcoming week I get started on a first gen Dodge with a second gen 12 valve Cummins in it, and the guy wants to pull the automatic transmission out and put an NV 5600 in it. So that's going to be an interesting one. Hey, Bill. Had a nice 12-hour text day on Sunday. Yeah, keeps you busy, Nick. Hello, Shaggy. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it, Mark. It'll be something different. So I can't wait. And then the challenge is the T case because it's a 4-wheel drive. So on those older trucks, the T case drops on the driver's side, or on the opposite side of what they do today. Today they drop on the driver's side, but on the older ones they drop on the passenger side. So we got to make all that work. Uh, Better transmission, Nick. Dodge transmissions are not really known for holding up. So it'll be all right, Mark. It'll be all right. It'll be challenged, and I like that. So yesterday I had to work on a John Deere tractor. One of my customers. So he's getting ready for planting. He's got a couple more tractors he want me to work on. So we looked him over. He's got a parts list.
What size tractor?
That was a 4240. That's the first one on the list. Then he has a 4020, and then he has a 4650 that he wants me to look at. So that's right, Nick. Sounds like you got some more stuff to your to-do list, Shaggy. Oh, it'll be all right, Mark. It's actually pretty nice that, sometimes when you do a job like that, you need to be able to walk away and do something else. Because if you stay on that particular job and you run into a snag, you can you can be overlooking the simple things. So but don't worry, we'll get it all documented. It'll be a fun build. All right, Shaggy, you take care. Thanks for stopping in, bud. Appreciate it. All right, Nick. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate you. Have a good week, bud. I'm off to bed. Man, everybody is pooping out on me. What's up with that? Yeah, she worked on it some today too. So we got our taxes done and we're sitting well. That's a good thing, Mark. You all right there, Boo?
Yeah. Oh, not feeling good.
Well, if you want to call tonight, that's fine by me. We got about an hour in, so.
That and hungry. Yo, mama, hello.
You mama, what's up, brother?
Yeah, being hungry. Not, well, haven't had anything to eat. Running fever like that. That'll take a toll on you.
All right. You want to wrap it up, Boo?
I reckon so.
Well, do your thing.
Okay. All right. Well, Theo, I appreciate the link. Appreciate you having me on here. God. And my little dog's hungry too. She jumped off the chair. It's good seeing everybody tonight. Y'all know the routine. It's good being north of the grass. Y'all stay safe. Be that way. Be that way. Stay safe. And as always, love, peace, and crackling grease. Catch y'all later. A Pluta.
Pluta. Feel better, Boo. That's right, Boo.
No, try to.
Shine on. Dancing is in the house. Dancing.
No.
Dancing is walking in us. We're walking out. So, all right, everybody. Thanks for stopping in and hanging out with me tonight. Appreciate it. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Hope everybody's going to have a good week. And catch y'all on the next one. Peace out.